Joining this webinar. I should start, the webinar by singing a song of T-Pain. It's 5 o'clock in the evening. Although in his song, he said it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm saying it's 5 o'clock in the evening. We have John Evans with us from Study Metro, US office, and all we are trying every week when we are talking with different, representative from US, and in future we'll be bringing you different people from different countries, where you are getting more awareness about the work, the study, the education, how you can get succeed in future. This time when we thought of having John with us, our focus was that most of the students, because when we spend money in Indian rupees, and when we are planning to go abroad, and especially US, when we convert the amount, it feels like we are paying too much of amount to the US universities. And every student think like if there are any opportunities for us to how we can save the tuition fee, or what kind of opportunities are available, that that it's easy, it becomes easy for students to save money and then utilize that money in their living expenses. So it's like kind of a less burden to the parents, when they send money every month to their children, like $1,000, $1,200. So in previous webinar, we have been focusing on that, how you can work on campus, off campus, to make sure that whatever is the cost of the tuition, but you at least can take care of living expenses or the tuition fee, or both of them. So this time we have thought that what's best we can provide you guys the information where you learn that how you can save your tuition fee. So we thought of having you guys, make you aware about the scholarships available in different universities, and then the university which especially we have tie-up with, we negotiate with them, in order to get you the best school application, the school application as well as the tuition fee. So you save that money and you utilize that money either in for your living expenses or for your other expenses. So today our focus is more on the benefits of course, a US degree, and then the study locations available, our university partners, which is offering you a huge scholarships, again, like the payment options, like the installment thing that you can pay for the courses you take, and then again CPT, OPT options available for you during your during your stay there in the US. Okay, so the main focus is this scholarship this week. So you can think of anybody who's looking for scholarships would be very, very wonderful if you listen to Mr. John Evans today in this webinar. Second thing is, like, we have come up with a very good option this time, that if you, after listening to us, if you somewhere feel like this is the program which I was looking for, I think these are the universities or the scholarship, if I can make you avail, I'll be happiest one. So before 30th of April, what you can do is, like, all you need to do is not to send us your complete documents, but all you do is, like, you just fill the application form, request our representative that to send us the application forms, so that you can at least fill those forms and we will send those to the university. If you do that at least by before 30th April, then you will be eligible to get the offered scholarships by the university. If you're still planning that, because when I do counsel one-on-one to the students, they say I'd like to go as soon as possible. I mean, they really don't want to wait for the next the fall intake or the spring intake. The thing is, for majority of the university, the school deadline is like 15th of April. Some have 15th March, 1st of April, 15th April. But these schools, the best thing which we are offering today is the scholarships, And if you apply by next week, you can still, if you have the complete set of documents, or even not complete but have partial set of documents, if you send us, you are still eligible to get the admission for summer and for the next fall intake. I mean, this is fall intake, like it's in August, September intake. So for those of you who think that, you know, this is the opportunity, if I plan to study now, when I would be getting admissions, so probably you can still do it for the month of June, which is just like 2 months away from today, and then August, which will give you special time, and we will request the universities to work hard to send the I-20s as quickly as possible. So all of you guys who would like to take advantages of the scholarships offered, the work opportunities they are available for the international students, then our recommendation is that you take the advantage, fill the application form, fill your information in there, and we'll forward it to the university. The deadline is 30th April. If you do that before 30th April, then of course you are eligible to get the scholarships offered by the university. If not, then unfortunately we gotta say this, that you will not be able to. But for all those students who think that this is not the right time for me because I'm still studying or working or I cannot go, but if you still fill the application form before the 30th, no matter whether you go for, I mean, you know, the fall intake, we can still have you become eligible for that scholarship. Okay, so thank you so much again for all of you who has joined us today in this webinar where we have Mr. John Evans from US, and I'm so happy that today we'll be covering the scholarship, which is the desire, the intention of every international students to just, you know, become eligible to get some scholarships. And I am sure after this webinar you will know that what are the criteria for the scholarship and how you can make the scholarship for this time. And in case if you have any question, you can see the chat window there. All you gotta do is to just put your name and just throw us as many as questions as possible. We'll have Mr. Abhishek and Mr. John himself gonna answer all the questions you have in your mind. So thank you so much. Now I would like to hand over this webinar to Mr. John Evans. Enjoy your webinar. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Abby, and good evening to everybody. I'm delighted to present to you this evening exciting opportunities to pursue higher education in the USA. As Abby indicated, I'm actually based in the US. I'm based in Fort Lauderdale, and really I work very closely to help Study Metro channel students from India into quality US universities. We work with a number of institutions here in the US, but really the focus of today is really on those institutions and programs that we have negotiated, or Study Metro has negotiated special scholarships for these summer and fall intakes. In addition to that, you know, we've because of our relationship with these universities, we've been able to negotiate reduced tuition rates, payment terms, and really our role is to support you throughout what is a very important process. I can't emphasize enough the fact that obviously the journey that you're proposing to take in terms of pursuing higher education overseas is probably one of the biggest investments that you know, you and your family will make in your future. So obviously we accept the very important role that we play in supporting you through that process. And really, you know, we see that opportunities like today are very important in terms of making sure that you know, you're aware of the opportunities that exist, that you're you know, fully understanding of the institutions that are available and the choices that you have, and then obviously to ensure that we guide you through the admissions process, making sure that your documentation is in correct order, that you will be admitted by the school. But then obviously once you've been admitted by the school, ensuring that we guide you through the visa process, and then ultimately to your final arrival on campus. And obviously we will continue to play a role in supporting you, throughout your educational experience. Really, today I believe is an important step in your journey, towards an education pathway in the US, and hopefully by the end of the session you'll obtain more information and you'll have more clarity in terms of what the opportunities are. And as Abby mentioned, obviously we've negotiated these scholarship opportunities, and we encourage those of you who are interested to at least start that process, because obviously by being on the session today you've already helped pre-qualify yourself to access those scholarships, but there will be further steps involved that we will discuss during this session. So just a little bit about my own background, and the reason I wanted to share my background is to really emphasize the level of expertise that Study Metro possess within our team. So originally I'm from the UK, but I've actually spent 21 years in the international higher education arena. I've held executive positions both in US and UK higher education businesses, and I've personally been responsible for the direct recruitment of over 15,000 students on campus and online as well. I'm a graduate of an MBA from the University of Leicester, which is a top UK university and in one of the top 1% of universities worldwide. And as I indicated, I work with Study Metro really to help them link well with the institutions in the US market. So we're bringing a lot of expertise here, and obviously we use that expertise to help successfully guide you through the process. So why study in the US? Well, obviously you will have already decided in your own heads that that really, pursuing opportunities in the US really, help kind of stand you out from the crowd. So really, by obtaining a highly expected US degree, you're making that investment that will, ultimately provide a return on investment and increase your career prospects. In addition to that, as somebody who's also foreign to the US originally, even though I'm a US citizen now, it's really a great opportunity to live and learn about a different culture, improve your communication skills, and also expose yourself to I guess Western business practices. And obviously, in a global economy, also, sorry, it's saying that I can participate in the conference call.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Are you hearing me now? I just want to make sure that I can be heard. It's saying I'm having some connection difficulties here. I just want to make sure that I am heard. Just one moment. Okay, good. Okay, so let me continue. So again, obviously, really the opportunity of studying in the US is not just about the education experience that you'll receive on campus, but it's the cultural experience. It's really the exposure that you will have in terms of just living in the US culture, and obviously the hope is that you'll be able to take that experience and those skills eventually back with you to India and obviously pursue a very successful career in the process. Obviously, we offer you access to top-tier, internationally accredited and recognized universities, and again, I'll go into more detail in terms of accreditation and why that's important to your university selection as well. And of course, we're also offering you the opportunity to access quite significant scholarships, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. And also, as part of your educational experience, you'll also have opportunities to gain valuable experience in, in a US company through curricular practical training and optional practical training at the end of your programs. And also for some of the programs as well, there are internship opportunities actually that offer academic credits as well. So just talking a little bit more about the USA as a study destination for international students. Well, really, first of all, the US is the most popular destination in the world for international students. There's over 750,000 international students currently pursuing higher education options. And that trend is expected to grow significantly over the next decade as well. Obviously, things like the visa process improving and access now becoming more readily for international students has certainly helped, drive that demand as well. Also, as in terms of quality, I mean, the US is second to none. In terms of international and world universities, it has 7 out of the world's top 10 universities and 76 from the top 200. So again, that really speaks volume about the quality and the reputation of US education. Also, it presents the widest choice for international students. There's over 4,500 universities and colleges, both public and private, located, in many cities throughout the, the 50 states in the US. And also, in terms of Indian students, India is now the second largest, provider of international students to the US, behind only China. But again, that demand is growing, and that that trend is changing as well. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about accreditation for a moment, because I think it is an important issue. I don't think international students necessarily fully understand it, so I think it's worth spending a few minutes on. So really, accreditation in the US, first of all, is optional. And what that means is that institutions aren't required by any laws to obtain accreditation. And so really what that means is that there's a real variety of institutions that exist in the market. So there's everything from the Ivy League and the state schools, the Harvards, the Stanfords, right down to the diploma mills, where you'll get these institutions advertising that if you pay your $50, you can earn your degree. So there's a massive kind of scale of institutions. So really what accreditation is, it's a review of the quality of a higher education institution and the programs that they offer. So it's some independent quality assurance that validating that this institution has processes and quality controls in place to ensure that the students that are pursuing higher education are having a quality experience. And obviously you can appreciate when you're making a massive investment, as you will be, then that is extremely important. The recognition of your qualification is everything, because obviously, you don't want to put all that time, investment, and money into something, without it being, well recognized at the end. So accreditation in a nutshell is your guarantee that this institution meets and maintains quality standards. So really, in terms of the US, there's a variety of accreditation authorities, but really the top tier recognized accreditation is the regional accreditation, and there's actually 6 regional accrediting authorities in the US. I won't go and list all of them, but typically the regional accreditation authorities, they're considered the most prestigious. I mean, certainly the Ivy League schools, the state schools will all be regionally accredited. And obviously, of course, the schools that we work with as well also have this accreditation standard. The next accreditation I would consider is the national accrediting bodies, and typically these accrediting authorities are accrediting things like or career schools, but they also do accredit some of the for-profit universities as well. But really, I guess there's some important things to consider, because I know that for example, some students from India will arrive and they'll get approved for a regionally accredited school, but then look to transfer out into maybe a nationally accredited school, which is cheaper, have better tuition rates. But again, the things that you have to consider is that regionally accrediting authority or regionally accredited schools will typically accept each other's credits. So, for example, if you start at one regionally accredited school, then you would be able to transfer into another, and the credits that you'd earn would typically transfer with you. But if you went to a nationally accredited school and then decided to try and transfer into a regional, they wouldn't necessarily accept the credit. I mean, again, the policy is by the individual institution, but it's not recognized as a rule of thumb that they will automatically accept your credits. Also, overseas institutions and employers will much more likely recognize a regionally accredited qualification. If I can give the example of my home country, the United Kingdom, we consider that a US degree from a regionally accredited university is equivalent to an honours degree in the UK. So we're saying that a 4-year US degree equates to a 3-year bachelor's degree in the UK. However, we don't necessarily say the same of nationally accredited schools. So again, in terms of direct comparison of standards, if you wanted to pursue other studies in future, then these things always also become important as well. So again, just to emphasize the fact that when you're considering a school, you really do want to consider their accreditation, because it drives a lot of other factors. So really, Study Metro, we work with multiple universities and programs in the US, but the two that we're going to focus on today are really locations in Washington, D.C. and San Diego, University of Potomac and US University. These are both in fantastic locations. I've actually in D.C. I visited San Diego many times, so these are kind of very premier locations in terms of student populations, in terms of culture. Obviously in Washington D.C. you have the government. I mean, so these are very popular destinations for international students, and again, whichever selection that you make, you'll have a fantastic experience. So I'm going to briefly talk about the destinations themselves. I'm going to talk a little bit about the schools themselves, and then jump into things like the programs. So first of all, for those of you who don't know San Diego, obviously I've just shown you from the map. It's on the west coast of America in California, and it's actually the 8th largest city in the USA. They have 3 million residents county-wide. It's a fantastic setting. It's got year-round great climate. It's an idyllic setting. They have over 70 miles of pristine beaches. They've got very popular tourist attractions, including San Diego Zoo, SeaWorld, Legoland. Obviously, it's near to it's within reasonable distance of Los Angeles, of San Francisco, of Las Vegas. So again, it's a very it's a great location on the west coast, and again, a fantastic destination. And as somebody who lives in Florida, I mean, there's nothing better than than living in this kind of climate as well. So again, great for international students and great for just a really great cultural US experience. So just a little bit about US universities. So as I indicated, we do work with schools that have the top tier accreditation. So US University is regionally accredited by WASC. It's quite a boutique school. I mean, it's not one that has 20,000 students. So again, the kind of experience that you will receive as an international student is a very personalized experience. So you'll be working within relatively reasonable class sizes. So you will have good access to the academics, and the programs are spread across 2 campuses, both of which are in the San Diego area. And really, the university works with a very high student population, international student population. So again, they're very geared up to, to catering for the needs of international students. That will include everything from, your airport arrivals to orientation dinners to, just everything is geared around making sure that you have, a good experience as an international student. I've just been reminded by my colleague, if you do have any questions during the session, you can actually ask those questions within the chat window, and then either my colleagues will address them while I continue to present, or we will accumulate them and answer them at the end of the session. So all you have to do is just type in the chat window any questions that you have. Also, US University, because they deal with international students, they know that each individual case is different, so they don't necessarily require IELTS or TOEFL, although if you do have them, then of course they will accept those scorings, but they will also look at, the fact that, if you have been taught in English and the medium of instruction was English, for at least 3 years, then they will also give due consideration to that. But you obviously have to be able to demonstrate that and prove it in writing as well. In addition to that, for some of the graduate programs, including the MBA, they do offer internship opportunities as well. So as part of your studies, you can actually earn academic credit. I think it's over a 10-week internship. So again, a great opportunity for you to actually have some exposure of what it's like to work in the US company as well. So that's just really a summary of the university itself, but obviously again we also encourage you to do your own research. You can go online or ask our the team any questions about the university itself. So here's just a summary of the programs available at undergraduate and postgraduate level. So at the undergraduate level, they have a bachelor's in management that has different concentrations. They have a bachelor in health sciences. Now the duration is 40 months, so it's under 4 years, but they will actually issue you up to a 5-year F1 visa, and you would have the opportunity to even spread the duration of your studies out over a 5-year period. And obviously if you spread the duration, you can also spread the cost. Now they will also accept up to 75% credit transfer. So for example, if you're pursuing a bachelor's in India, you haven't completed it, or you have completed it and you want to earn a US bachelor's as well, you would be able to transfer up to 75% of those credits. Now, credit transfer, the rules are typically that the credits have been earned within the last 10 years, that they match the courses that you would be taking with the degree in the US. So for example, you're more likely to get maximum credit transfer from a bachelor's in management in India to a bachelor's in management in the US. I mean, that's obviously common sense. And also they look at your grade point average as well. So as long as your GPA is sufficient, that you've performed well enough on those courses, typically you could transfer, and then you could essentially earn a US bachelor's within a year, as little as a year, depending on how quickly you want to accelerate completion of the program. So the regular tuition fee for this school, and bear in mind that education in the US is expensive. I mean we'll make no bones about that. I mean, you could pay anything from average about $70,000 to $200,000 for your bachelor's degree over the over the 120 credits. So the kind of regular tuition rates for US universities, 83,400 for the full tuition, but through the specialist scholarships that have been negotiated by Study Metro, you can see that you're reducing that by almost a third, or $30,000. So the scholarship value for the bachelor's is $29,250, and that scholarship will be prorated over the tuition of the program. So you won't receive it all up front, you won't receive it all at the end. It will be divided over each semester that you study. And for the MBA programs and the other masters, they have MBA with different concentrations. They have a master's in health sciences and a master's in education. Again, these programs can be completed within 12 months, but you will be issued a 2-year visa. Again, you have the opportunity to take up to 2 years to complete the program. They will accept up to 20% credit transfer, but again, they're only going to accept credits that have been earned at graduate level. So they're not going to transfer credits that you earned with your bachelor's degree onto a master's program. Again, you can see that the tuition rates are just under $30,000, which is about the average cost of a good quality MBA in the US. But through the scholarship program, you can see that that about 25% reduction on the tuition fee. So that's the scholarships are worth $7,300, and again, these are prorated over each semester of your studies. In terms of start dates as well, the university has starts every 2 months. So the next one would be in July, then September, then November of this year. But then also they have January, March, and May. But obviously these scholarships, they are linked to the July and September start. So again, we really encourage you to to make that application so you can qualify for that significant reduction in fees. Okay, so a little bit about Washington, D.C. As I mentioned, I lived there 7 years, so I can speak quite intelligently about this part of the world. It's obviously the capital of the U.S., and it's really central to all government activity. You've got the White House there, you've got the U.S. government Capitol building there, you've got the House of Representatives, you've got all of the cultural monuments. You can see the Lincoln Memorial there. You've got fantastic museums like the Natural History Museum, the Smithsonian. So it's a really fantastic cultural place. They've also got some fantastic universities that are world-renowned, like Georgetown and University of Washington there. So again, it's a fantastic place for international students. Very, very culturally diversified. Great transportation system, like they've got the metro system, so you can get around very easily. And again, even if you're studying the downtown Washington D.C. location, it's very easy to live out in the suburbs, which I used to do, and then commute into central D.C. So, and in addition to that, they have fantastic places to shop, to dine, nightlife, so everything that you could possibly want from an American experience. So, University of the Potomac. So again, it has the top level of accreditation. In the US, it's accredited by the Middle States Association of Colleges and Schools. It's got a very prestigious downtown campus location, and because of that, you can use the National Library as well. For when you're doing your study and research. They have both evening and weekend study options. So again, if you decide to pursue things like CPT while you're studying, then you can build a flexible schedule. That means that you'll be able to balance both your work and study opportunities. And again, it's a smaller but vibrant campus, and again, it's very international in terms of its community, and again, so obviously, you'll be very easily integrated into that campus. So because obviously you'll be in the same boat as many other international students. So you can see there the pictures of the DC campus there, and also the campus in Virginia. So again, a great institution and a great location. So in terms of the programs that are offered by the university, they offer a couple of different options. At undergraduate level, they offer a Bachelor in Business, Bachelor in Accounting, Bachelor in IT, and Bachelor in International Business. Again, the average duration is about 4 years. They'll accept up to 75% of your credits, and you can see that the tuition rate for the 4 years is 90,000 US, which might seem very high, but I can tell you, based upon studying in downtown Washington DC, I mean, that's actually considered very competitive in terms of the rates. But just making sure that you can see the scholarships there. Again, we've negotiated scholarships of almost $30,000. These are significant scholarships. I mean, to be able to earn a bachelor's degree, in downtown DC at a top-tier accredited school for essentially what's 15,000 US per year is is massive. I can't emphasize that enough. And again, obviously, if you pursue an undergraduate studies, then the scholarship would be prorated over the 4-year period. So at the graduate level, they offer an MBA at the moment that has various concentrations, including marketing, IT management, international business, finance and project management. The program can be completed within 15 months, but they will issue a 2-year visa. And again, you can transfer up to 15% of your credits, graduate earned credits. So again, the tuition rate is $32,400 for the MBA, but with the scholarship that we've negotiated, then that the tuition is brought down by almost a third. So the scholarship is actually 9,950 US, which is prorated over the duration of the program. So again, a fantastic opportunity for you to earn a very prestigious US MBA, at a very reasonable rate. In addition to that, we are in the process, or the university is in the process of launching a new Masters in IT. It's not formally launched yet because they're going through the final approvals. Essentially, when an institution introduces a new program, it has to be approved by the Accreditation Authority, again, to make sure that any new program is going to meet their standards. So we expect that that program will be finally approved by the end of May, and then available for the full start. But we will be accepting applications for that program in early June onwards. I can't confirm what the policies are and the tuition rates are, but we expect them to mirror the MBA. So just to give you an indication, I mean, obviously that's subject to final confirmation, but we expect to be able to offer the same kind of rates for that program as well, because we know that IT is a very highly demanded subject area, from India. So just to explain a little bit about work-study opportunities. Now, with both of the universities, they offer CPT and OPT, and really they will offer that opportunity, once you've enrolled, in the program, and you will have access to that as early as the first semester. But you will have to apply for that through the university. So really, what CPT offers is really the opportunity for candidates to go out into the workforce and pursue work but it's got to be related to their major. For example, you can't apply for CPT under your MBA and go and work as a waiter. So you've got to find something that's directly applicable to what you're studying. You're able to either apply for part-time or full-time employment. Again, that's where things like flexible schedules, evening and weekend classes really help you, so you can you can actually go out and pursue those opportunities. But obviously, you still have to be active in school as well. You can't simply arrive on campus, secure CPT and then suspend your studies. I mean, you are there primarily as an international student. So again, staying current with your academic studies is critical. Also, it's not up to the university to actually find you placement. That's your responsibility. But obviously, we'll try and give you guidance as best as possible. But ultimately, you're in control of that part of the program. But obviously, for example, in the DC area and the San Diego area, I mean, it's they're very high employment areas or low unemployment areas, so hopefully finding those opportunities won't be too difficult for you, and it certainly hasn't been for students in the past. Also, the work can be paid or unpaid. Again, obviously, we can't guarantee that. That's down to the individual employer that you find, but at least you have that opportunity, immediately once you've started studying your program. So the second work study opportunity really relates to optional practical training, and really this is an opportunity that will allow you to extend your visa by up to 17 months. So again, the same rules will apply. You will have to go out and find somebody that's willing to provide that additional work so you can get the extension. But again, it allows you to extend your stay in the US and obviously find employment, paid employment that that will help you build your resume. And again, that's available at both of the schools that we work with. So just to kind of summarize the admissions process. So as Abby mentioned at the start of this session, the first kind of deadline, which I'll share with you in a moment, means that we want you to start the application process as quickly as possible, and that will mean at the very least submitting a completed application form, which my colleagues at Study Metro will share with you. In addition to the completed application form, we need copies of all of your certificates and transcripts. We need your proof of English language. So whether that's IELTS or TOEFL or another score, or whether it's just the fact that you can demonstrate that you've studied academically in English for at least 3 years and the medium of instruction was English. We'll also need a copy of your passport with the photo page. We also need, as part of the admissions process, the school requires that you provide a personal essay or statement of purpose, really talking about why you want to study in the US and why you want to study at that school. So they will be using that partially to evaluate your application. They'll also want a copy of your CV, just detailing any prior work experience that you've gained in India. And also, for certain graduate programs, we will require a letter of recommendation. So this might be either from an employer or from your a university tutor, just endorsing your application. As well, the school will need completed financial affidavit statement, really demonstrating that you have the necessary funding in place for your studies. And again, my colleagues will share more detail on that. But again, this is also a requirement for CVIS. So so in order for you to get visa approval, they'll want to see that. So the admissions process is, again, fairly straightforward. You'll submit all of your application documents to Study Metro. The team at Study Metro will review your application, make sure all the documentation is present and correct, and then they will submit that documentation to the university for final approval. The university will then be contacting you directly just to complete an initial pre-screening process. So that will involve a telephone interview. They'll just call you up, welcome you to the university, ask you some basic questions relating to your intentions to study and why you want to study that particular program. And then once they're satisfied, they will then issue you with the offer letter and a scholarship award letter as well. So once you've done that, then the next stage is that for US University there are no fees, but for University of the Potomac there is a $50 fee just to issue the I-20. So obviously at this point you'll have made the decision, you know, it is being approved, and then you studies at this school, and then you just need to pay the $50 to Study Metro in order for the I-20 to be issued. And then once the I-20 is issued, then you know, that will be provided to you via Study Metro. You will then secure your visa interview quickly, and then Study Metro will work with you closely to prepare you for that visa interview. And again, you know, the visa process, you know, is fairly straightforward, but unless you've been counseled properly, then you know, you do run the risk of not being approved. So it's that kind of support and preparation is very, very important. So, and again, Study Metro has a very good track record at helping Kannada. So then once you've been approved and you'll receive the confirmation that you've been issued with an F1, then you'll be required to pay an initial tuition deposit just to secure your place and also to secure that scholarship as well. And again, typically the university or tuition, so you're not having to pay the full year or the full fees, just the initial semester just to secure that place. And then once that's been in place, then Study Metro will work closely with you and will help you with all of the pre-arrival preparation, including working with the schools on the you know, transportation from the airport if required, helping you with the accommodation placement, so everything to complete your journey to the campus in the US. So as you can see, you know, there's a very structured approach that we take, but obviously everything is designed to ensure that you will be approved and you'll be successful. So now just to talk a bit more specifically about the Study Metro tuition scholarship. So again, by being on this session today, you've given yourself the opportunity to you know, to secure the scholarship. So essentially, you know, what you have to do is just start the process as quickly as possible. I think a deadline of the 30th of April was put on making that application, so we encourage you, you know, to at least start the process. You know, obviously it's not costing you anything to do that, you know, and at least you'll have to secure that scholarship. So the scholarships available are up to $30,000 for the undergraduate programs and up to $10,000 almost for the graduate programs. The scholarships are prorated over the duration, so they will be divided equally over each semester of the program. And in order to maintain the scholarship, you must also maintain good academic standing with a minimum 3.0 GPA. So in order to apply for the scholarships, as he indicated, by attending this session, you've already pre-qualified yourselves to apply for the scholarship. But in order to, you must meet the university's criteria. So again, you've got to meet the admissions criteria. But again, when you submit your application, Study Metro will review your application and make sure that you do meet the criteria. And if there's anything missing, then they will advise you to ensure that you know, your application is strong as possible. You must be able to demonstrate that you have the finances to support year one of your studies. And again, obviously, Study Metro team will provide you on the specifics of that. And you must submit your applications through Study Metro to qualify for this. This is a Study Metro scholarship, so if you don't submit your application through Study Metro, you won't receive the scholarship. And the deadline for the applications for both, if you're deciding to start in the summer or in the fall starts, then the application must be started at least by 30th of April. So what that means is that even if you haven't got all the documents together, as long as you've started the process, then you will still be able to be eligible for that scholarship. So now I'm just going to show you a very brief video from Study Metro, and then we can answer any questions that you may have. So if you just bear with me one moment.
Meet Adele. Now that he's earned his bachelor degree, he's not sure what his next move should be. He wonders, should he seek... Meet Adele. Now that he's earned his bachelor degree, he's not sure what his next move should be. He wonders, should he seek out an entry-level job or continue his education? Some of Adele's peers that chose to enter the workforce are not happy. They're hoping to find employment abroad, even though they'd have to deal with the very difficult and tedious process of obtaining a work permit. They're even asking themselves what their next move should be. Adele does know that he doesn't want to be a burden on his family. He wants to find a way to continue his education while earning a good wage, one that will pay his tuition and provide for living expenses. Adele made a different choice, a better choice. He contacted Study Metro. We've teamed up with hundreds of top universities in more than 10 countries so that Indian students like Adele can earn their master's degree while they work part or full-time in their chosen field of study. Adele learns that with the work and study program and paid internships, he can earn a valuable international master's degree and gain up to 3 years of work experience. And that when he returns home, he'll be a prime employment candidate. He also learns that Study Metro provides USA Work and Study Program. No IELTS or TOEFL. Work up to 40 hours from day one. Canada, co-op program, paid internships guaranteed. Germany, paid internships, dual degree programs. France, well-paid internships, earn up to €1,100 per month. There are many more programs like these available in Ireland, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Malaysia, Europe, and more. After meeting with one of Study Metro's expert counselors, his future plans are clear. Be like Adele and take control over your future. Contact Study Metro today. Visit our website at www.studymetro.com or call an advisor at 8088-867-867. Study Metro, one-stop education and career center.
Okay, so here are the contact details for Study Metro, the phone numbers. I'll get the guy.
Meet Rajan. He's always wanted to attend a university where he could earn an MBA that offered an internship. He and his family had searched and researched colleges in India, but none of them seemed to offer exactly what he was seeking. Rajan became discouraged that his dream of becoming a project manager was
Sorry about that. Hopefully everybody can still hear me. So that really concludes my main presentation. I'm just going to pull up the slide there so you see the contact details for Study Metro, and then obviously if you have any questions, I guess now would be the time to jump onto those. So I'm going to now ask Abby or his team to join us and see if there was any specific questions that needed to be addressed. Okay, so I'll hand over to you for a moment, Abby.
Hey, hi John, and hello students. It's good evening. It's close to 6, and I just want to say sorry to everyone because I was not aware about that. After 6 minutes, our audio got fixed, and initially you didn't listen to the Abby and John. So I just want to give the brief introduction about the John. John is sitting in our US office, and he's having more than 20 years of experience in the same field, and he helped the students to get the admission in the USA schools and all. So uh, the, the most of the students have asked me the one question, John, that what is the application fee, or which application form you are talking about in your session, so which they need to submit to us.
Right, Abhishek. Well, obviously you will have the application form, so and obviously you can talk them through the initial local, process for submitting those applications. I think it probably makes more sense for you than me to talk about the local process. Okay.
Yeah, so the answer of this question is like very simple, that the students has to submit their education documents to our admission team, that is admission@studymetro.com, and our admission team, they will check your credential, and according to your credential they will shortlist one university for you, either USU or University of Potomac, and then we will submit the application form to you. You need to submit the via email. You need to fill the application form and submit to us. Okay, John, the another questions the students have asked, that the university is going to help them for part-time or full-time job.
Indicated, Abhishek. I mean, obviously the university will provide some support, but really the emphasis is on the candidate to, to go out and find those employment opportunities. And obviously, we can provide some direction to the candidates in terms of how they might approach that, but the university isn't offering that as an actual service. I mean, they will provide the paperwork that allows the students legally to pursue those employment opportunities, but they're not actually placing the students. So just to make sure that we don't create a false level of expectation there. But again, we can provide guidance in terms of how these candidates might approach, obtaining CPT. But obviously, there's not a lot they can do until they actually arrive, at the school and on the campus for that.
Okay, the Nikhil has asked the question: the scholarships is based on the TOEFL or IELTS score, or it is common for everyone?
No, the scholarship is available for everybody who meets the admissions criteria. Everybody here today that meets the admissions criteria. And as I indicated, if they haven't taken IELTS or TOEFL, or then they can also, as long as they can present that they have the necessary abilities to be able to study in English academically, then they can obviously get admittance that way. But if they don't meet that, then there are some ESL pathways that are available as well. So they can take ESL and then get a conditional offer to then pursue academic studies. But again, we will help the candidates evaluate. Once we evaluate their applications, we'll give more specific guidance on that to each candidate.
Okay, the Navid has asked the question that how much time it will take to get the I-20 from Potomac.
That's normally we can get the process within about 5 to 7 working days, but obviously that's subject to the candidate providing all of the necessary documentation that their application can be fully evaluated. B, making sure the university has completed the pre-screening process, because normally they will be contacting you within a few days of you submitting the application, and then once everything's been satisfied, then the I-20 would be issued via Study Metro. But normally, with Potomac, the turnaround time is between 5 and 7 days, so it's a very short process.
Okay, the Sports Sharma has asked one question. He's having a 1 year of IT experience, so do you think it can help him in the future in the USA?
Is he asking from the perspective of gaining CPT and OPT opportunities, or just so I understand the context of that question?
The context is that once he finishes his education from the USA, his experience is going to count somewhere.
Yes, of course. I mean, obviously, any experience that is going to help reflect on your abilities as a candidate is going to be more favourable in terms of whether employers are interested in offering you opportunities or not. I mean, certainly both the Virginia and San Diego area, they're areas of high employment. So obviously, employers are looking for people that are well educated and have experience. So any experience that can be gained during their studies is certainly going to be beneficial.
Okay. We have another student that his name is Mohammed. He has asked the question that if we submit only the transcripts, so it is sufficient to get the scholarships.
Well, as you know, Abhishek, in order to be granted a scholarship, they need to be fully approved by the institution. So in order to do that, we need all of the documents. We can't, the university won't make an admissions offer without seeing all of the required documents, including the financial affidavits, the transcripts, the personal essays, the copy of the passport, because they can't issue an I-20 without these things.
Okay, we have another student from Pakistan. His name is Tausif Ahmed, and his question is how much sufficient fund he need to show as a bank certificate.
Well, again, obviously that's really dependent on the program because what it will list on the I-20 is the tuition fees. It will list the living expenses, all these things, but it will also net out the tuition scholarship as well. But typically, they're looking for you to demonstrate that you would have at least 25,000 US available to you either through your direct bank account or through sponsorship.
Okay, we have one student. His name is Morgan. He's from Nigeria, and his question is that this scholarship is only for the Indian students or it's for everyone?
No, this is a scholarship that's open to persons that make their application through Study Metro. So it's not country specific. It's more specific to persons that would apply through Study Metro.
Okay, and the another question asked by the Prashant, and he said that what are the accreditation the USU and the Potomac is having?
Sorry, Abhishek, could you repeat that question? I didn't quite catch it.
Okay, the question is about the accreditation of the both the university.
Accreditation?
Yes.
Right. Well, as I indicated earlier in the session, we only work with top-tier accredited institutions. So both US University and University of the Potomac have the highest level of accreditation in the US, which is regional accreditation. So so earning a qualification from either of these institutions would mean that it would be recognized internationally.
Okay, and the student is asking the questions that the social security number, the students can get any kind of help from the university?
Well, again, the university will provide all of the details for things like the process for applying for a social security number once they arrive on campus. I mean, this would all be part of the orientation process. And obviously there will be advisors on hand as well to address any specific questions that the students will have.
Okay, and there are 2 and 3 students asked the question about the MS programs. What are the MS programs we can get in the computer and IT?
Well, as I mentioned, the Masters in IT program from the University of Potomac, it's currently going through the final accreditation approval. We expect that to be completed in May, and then we expect them to be either launched in the summer or fall intake by the latest. So they are coming on board, but we can't actively accept applications for that program yet. But there is an MBA with IT specialization. So technically, they could start the MBA, and then once the Masters in IT is launched, they have the opportunity to transfer over at that point. But at this stage, we still don't have final confirmation on fees or negotiated scholarships or anything like that. So again, I don't want to false advertise information that's not available at the moment.
Okay, the students, if you have any more questions, please write us here. We'll wait for another 5 minutes and then we will close the session.
Abhishek, while you're waiting for more questions, I know that you said that the first part of the kind of presentation was missed. I'd like to kind of recap on a few points if that's okay.
Yeah, please go ahead because initially 10 minutes the students cannot hear us, and we have got so many messages from the students, and then we realized that there is a voice communication is a problem there. So please
Right.
repeat your first paragraph and all.
Okay. I'm just going to share my screen. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so really, at the start of this session, ladies and gentlemen, really, I introduced the fact that Study Metro is really bringing you some exciting opportunities here. Obviously, Study Metro as an organisation, we're very highly experienced in really helping, provide pathways to students in different countries. Obviously, I'm based here in the US, and I really work with Study Metro to help, build those channels with institutions. And obviously, we're seeking to work only with top quality universities to ensure that, you get an excellent higher education experience here. And also, we work very closely with our university partners to be able to ensure that, we can provide affordable tuition rates, access to scholarships. But also, I think our experience is important in terms of guiding you through the process. So we're not just arbitrarily, presenting some programs and hoping for the best. We select programs that we believe are appropriate for your needs, and then obviously we evaluate you as individual candidates and try and place you in the right program as well. And then also we, really work with you throughout the process right until the point where you would arrive on campus, because ultimately, this is probably going to be one of the biggest investments that you and your family will make, in your career. So obviously it's important that, that decision is right. We appreciate that there are many options available to you and many other agencies that you can work with, but obviously we believe that we've positioned ourselves, as a premier kind of institution to really help meet your higher education needs. And really just to kind of recap on my own experience, which again I think helps lend weight to the fact that we really are experienced in this sector. So personally, I've been in, I'm originally from the UK. I've been involved in the international higher education sector for over 20 years now. I've held executive positions both in UK and US higher education companies. I've been based in the UK, I've been based in Spain, I've been based in the US, in Washington, DC for 7 years. That's why I was able to talk so knowledgeably about the DC area. I've been directly responsible for the recruitment of over 15,000 campus and online students. And also I practice what I preach. I graduated with an MBA from a top UK university that's rated in the top 1% worldwide. And really, I'm very well positioned here in the US to help Study Metro build the right partnerships and with the right institutions that they can offer you a quality option in terms of your higher education. And really, I guess in terms of studying in the US, for people that are coming from overseas, I know that our audience isn't just from India here, so I'm not going to just talk specifically about India, but really, obtaining a highly respected US degree really will, enhance your career prospects, because not only will you be able to demonstrate to your employers that you're invested in your education, but the fact that you've been exposed to different culture, the fact that you've you've lived in a Western culture, you've had exposure in US companies, so you're familiar with US business practices, you're able to improve your communication skills. All of these things are going to count. And obviously, I emphasize the importance of things like the recognition of the qualification that you have as well. You're making such a huge investment in your future that you need to make sure that the degree that you earn is going to be recognized both here in the US, but also when you go back home as well. And obviously Study Metro are really offering you a great opportunity with these very large scholarships as well. So not only are we providing with the opportunity to reduce your tuition fees, but also through our partner schools actually have a pathway to gaining experience in a US company through CPT, OPT, and internship opportunities. So really, while we encourage you to think very carefully about this big decision in terms of your future, we also encourage you to grab with both hands the opportunity of earning that scholarship, which will make a significant financial difference to the overall cost of living in the US and pursuing your degree. But also, again, it will mean that not only while you're here, will you access the scholarships, will reduce your fees, but you'll have the opportunity to seek employment opportunities or study-related employment opportunities that can further contribute to supporting the cost of your stay in the USA as well. So, and obviously we're on hand really to provide you with all of the information, advice, and support to make sure that you can be a success in your chosen career path. Okay, Abhishek, I think I covered all of the initial stuff that we missed there through that recap, but are there any additional questions before we finalize the session?
Yeah, there are so many questions is there, and I think I need to personally call them all the students because there are so many questions they have asked, and I
Right.
have missed so many questions also. But the students generally have the. I'm just telling you the pickup questions like which I think that everybody knew it. That is regarding the IT program. Most of the students they are interested for the IT program, and they would like to know what is a payment plan, like how they can make the fees to the universities after getting the scholarships.
Right. Well, again, as I mentioned before, the IT program isn't officially launched yet, so we can't talk about fees or scholarships or anything for a program that doesn't officially exist yet. We hope that the approval process by the accreditation body will be completed within the next few weeks, and at that point, obviously, Study Metro will make the formal launch of that program. But in general, in terms of the other programs, because obviously there's an MBA with IT management as well, and a bachelor's in IT, payment can be made by semester. So, and typically, the first payment is due once you've been approved for your visa, and that's normally made by wire transfer. So again, Study Metro will provide you with specific details of the university's bank account, so you can make that deposit, and then all future payments can be made once you arrive in the US.
Okay. The Nikhil has asked the questions that if the student is working under the CPT or OPT, is they are liable for the taxes there in the USA?
Sorry, that was a question relating to tax.
Yeah. So if the student is working there, so are they liable
Right.
for taxes?
How it works here is that obviously once they receive a social security number, then typically if they earn paid employment, then their employer will make deductions through payroll, but then everyone is required to submit an annual tax return. So obviously the answer is yes, of course, like everybody else.
Okay. And the second question he asked that how long it take after getting the I-20, he can get the visa. Like after getting the visa, he can join the university.
Well, obviously it depends on for example, if they apply for the September start, then they wouldn't be able to fly until about early August. I mean, all of this will be stated on the I-20. So again, obviously, the I-20 is structured around the fact that they're coming here to study primarily. So therefore, it's designed that they would have sufficient time, to settle in before the commencement of their classes. And the application deadline for is typically about 6 weeks before the start as well. But we encourage people to apply as quickly as possible, especially given the fact that they need to do that to earn the scholarship.
Okay, and there is another question. Anshuman Singh asked that she is from the computer science field, so she can get admission there if she's belong to the computer science field.
I'm not sure I understood the question, Abhishek. Can you try and clarify a bit more, please?
Yeah, but yeah, it's almost all the students can get the admissions there, whatever the programs we are offering in the Potomac and the USU.
Well, I mean, obviously, don't forget that each program and each institution have their own admissions criteria. So, for example, if they're seeking to apply for graduate studies, then they have to have the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree. So they need to demonstrate that their bachelor's, from India is equivalent. So obviously, we will undertake that evaluation during the process. If they're looking to pursue a bachelor's, then they need the equivalent of US high school. Plus, they need obviously to demonstrate that they have the English language competency as well.
Okay. I think, John, we already crossed 15 minutes more, and I think their questions are coming. And if we go on, then I think the whole night we can speak here. So,
Right.
yeah, what I will do, the team, whatever questions you have, you can write email to our admission team. That is admission, ADMISSION at studymetro.com, and within a 24 hours our team is going to reply you. And if you want to speak with them, you can call on 8088-867-867, which you can see in your screen, and 7722-867-867. So this is our virtual cloud number, and once you call this number, it automatically redirect to our counselors. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, John. I think it's early morning in the USA, and you given your precious time to us and Indian students about the US education, about the scholarships. Before I end up or wrap up this session, I just want to remind everybody here that this scholarship is only valid till this 30th of April. So you don't have to complete your full documents, but you need to submit at least your education documents, and you need to complete the application file. So once you submit the education documents, we will send you the application form of Potomac or USU, which you need to submit, fill it, and send it back to us before 30th of April, and then we'll submit to the university so that they can shortlist you for the scholarships. So minimum scholarship the students can get, that is $10,000. So if you submit your applications before this 30, so at least you make sure that you are going to save at least 6 lakhs rupees um, um, there for your higher education. And thank you very much, John, for you, and thank you very much.
No problem.
Yep, thank you very much for.
I'd also. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to say something before we hang up. That's all.
Okay, yeah. Please finish. Please finish it off, John.
Okay. So, well, first of all, Abhishek, I want to thank you and your team for facilitating this morning or this evening session. I think any opportunity that potential students can get to obtain more information about such an important decision, it's vital. And obviously, I'm pleased to see that so many people have attended the session and and are keen for that information. So I encourage you to take further steps in that process by reaching out to Study Metro, and obviously at least seeing if you can secure a place and secure an offer. It's not going to cost you, money up front to do that. So again, we encourage you to engage Study Metro team and start that process. But thank you for your time this evening, everybody, and we look forward to helping you through the next steps of the process.
Thank you, everyone. Then have a nice weekend ahead, and we will see you next week again with another delegates, and we hopefully we will solve all